Hello, folks. Welcome to another exciting episode of Access Granted, where we talk about identity, access, and AI security. Generative AI has gone from writing poems to writing code and taking actions, making decisions, collaborating, and in some cases, hallucinating with the confidence of a overconfident intern who just discovered Stack Overflow. Right, so adoption is exploding, and according to a McKinsey case study, about 60% of the enterprises, or even more, now are actually experimenting with AI agents to take real actions and workflows, not just responding. But with this explosion, obviously comes the new risks: model integrity, data leakage, prompt injection, and AI agents taking actions that nobody approved. Right, so basically all the fun part of security with none of the predictability. So, to help make sense of this world, I'm joined by someone who works at the intersection of security standards and real world implementations. Ken Huang, a decorated experience professional here, wrote several books on AI, global speaker, EC Council for GenAI, founder of distributed apps.ai. We will talk about that, Ken, later. Co-author of the OWASP Top 10 for LLMs, NIST GenAI contributor, and co-chair of Cloud Security Alliance AI Safety Group. Ken, great to have you, and we are lucky to have someone with your experience and stature on this podcast here. I'm sure that the purpose of this podcast is to learn from each other and make our environment secure, especially with the explosion of AI. So I promise that we'll keep the hallucination to minimum, and we are not granted any AI agents intern level access on this podcast here. So thanks for coming to the show. Maybe a quick introduction of yourself, and then we can get started.
Sure. Yes. Thank you, Norman, for this kind of introduction. Yeah. So you introduced me well. Maybe one thing I can talk about is recently I wrote a book with Chris Hughes on securing AI agent. This is really relevant to this podcast. Yeah, you can find it everywhere in Amazon, Springer, Google Reads, Barnes Nobles, University Press, all those bookstores. Yeah, so if you're interested in securing AI agent, so that's maybe the good book to start. I got a lot of good feedback from LinkedIn. For some reason, Amazon does not really. I don't know how it works, but Amazon I don't get the reviews. But LinkedIn I got lots of good reviews, so which is good.
No, that's awesome. I mean, this is absolutely needed right now. I also work with several enterprise customers and cloud providers and obviously AI providers, and everybody is trying to figure things out, right? There's obviously one side is innovation, and everybody is bringing innovation and making it easy for people to leverage Gen AI and in a way operationalize AI. But then there's another part where is how do I actually secure it? Because that's the number one reason why things are stuck in the science project and POC and experimenting stage. So let's get going, and probably we'll start with this first segment on the state of Gen AI security, right? So I'm sure, Ken, you talk to a lot of leaders across the industries. In your opinion, how mature is enterprise Gen AI security today? It feels like a lot of organizations are trying to run where, as an organization, they have not even figured out how to crawl. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so from my experience talking with different leaders and practitioners, the agent or Gen AI application certainly is on the top of mind of each organization. And there are some successful deployment, especially at the leverage internal data, low risk data, not high risk, right? And going through low risk workflow, uh, it certainly works. In terms of high risk, like huge transaction workflow or external face, the agentic AI, we're not really there yet. It's because of security, right? And I want to maybe there's one data point I would say a research done by Lakela. It's a good surveys they did. They surveyed a number of organizations as well, and they found that 50 organizations they surveyed has already Gen AI applications deployed in the production, but only
Hmm.
like 19% of people of those said they are comfortable with security. Over 49% say they are not sure about security. So certainly security is the bigger kind of roadblock for successful employment deployment of the agentic AI, right? Of course, model reasoning capability, right? Also, it's another bottleneck, but eventually both will be needed to be resolved for widespread use of for the Gen AI applications.
Perfect. No, I think I see that also, and I think I concur with that conclusion. Now, from your work with OWASP and NIST and other similar security frameworks that we have, what classic mistakes do you see when teams roll out Gen AI applications systems too quickly?
Yeah,
What have you seen?
right. So I think the most problem is there's no like Gen AI security program in majority of organization yet. They think it's maybe we just need to add an AI use policy and still using the same security program. I mean, they defines the policy procedures process, right? This is still older process. Just one example is you have CI/CD pipeline for the application deployment. It's same pipeline used as before. That's certainly not enough, right? In the CI/CD traditional pipeline, you do not have the uh, data check in the CI/CD pipeline or model scanning, right? And or AI bomb or ML bill of material. It's a different name, but uh, maybe it's the best name for it is AIML bill of material. All right, so that's maybe it's a good term. Um, yeah, it's trying to look at especially from supply chain side, what kind of potential risk when you deploy the Gen AI applications. This is one thing. Another thing is really the shadow AI. It's kind of like a shadow IT, but it's extrapolate because of AI, right? The main reason is also because of security program is not in place. I actually wrote this and how you do it in my previous book, which is widely popular. It's called a Generative AI Security book. It's published a year ago. Um, yeah, and it has like 26,000 downloads just in spring. Talking about you need folks basically expand your security program, right? You don't have to wipe it out, but you have to expand to deal with this non-deterministic computing environment. So this is exaggerate the shadow AI, right? Because even the CISO, they may kind of know, okay, this is what I need to do, but I'm not sure. So they look at the different maybe security standard, but still not sure, right? And also the lack of the AI and cybersecurity professional. This is very key to the problem. I recorded the EC console generative AI for cybersecurity professional. That was good. It sales exceed my expectations. So, some people, so go there and get certifications. They get certified right by EC console once they go through 6 hours of the training. So that's highly recommended if people just get started. If you are AI person, started with cyber or cyber person, start with AI. So that's EC console. It's quite popular.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's fantastic. You know, great to hear that you have something going in terms of enabling the skill set of the existing cybersecurity professional to help out with the Gen AI deployment. So I think if I heard you right, you're saying that not realizing that the traditional security models will not work for AI security, right? So transforming your existing security, whether it's standards or frameworks, and making sure that you have AI custom or AI specific security in place, enabling your teams, and the shadow AI or shadow IT version of AI actually can be more dangerous because of all the risks that are associated with AI. So that's very thoughtful. Thank you so much. Now, my next question is, if a CISO right now is listening to this podcast, right, and driving on the freeway, a lot of people do that to make good use every time. What are the top three Gen AI risks you want them to be thinking about before they need to reach the next exit?
Yes, so I would say prompt injection certainly is top, right? It's different from a SQL injection, but it's a natural language. You cannot 100% defend against it. That's why we have the OWASP project called AIVSS, AI Vulnerability Scoring System. We trying to measure it if possible. Like if you can measure it, you can manage it, take a priority. So the prompt injection is one. Another one is the wider use of MCP server. Uh, Enterprise adopted it because it's quite a good standard. It's easy to understand. It's provides the context to your model, right? And now, like with the skill, which is also really good. It's a kind of standard or kind of artifact which Claude or Anthropic uh, uh, basically implement for their Cloud suite of product like Cloud Code and the desktop Cloud and also the online, right? All this is good. I think it extend the capability of the LLM. There is the risk, right? That's in OWASP as well as in Cloud Security Alliance. We put out some of the deliverable and also in my Substack. If people interested in reading my Substack, I have a kind of security guide for the MCP. It's free, I think, yeah, for now. So people can take a look. Yeah, I would say this may be top two if you really want to add another one. We have the agentic AI top 10 we're currently are working on based on our AI VSS project, right? AI VSS has also 10 core risks. So a WASP project building upon this will release the agentic AI top 10 soon. The majority of item is coming from our AI VSS work. So uh, basically, one of those is the goal manipulation because the agent, it's kind of if you really look at the way it's embedded intelligence has its own autonomy, right? So you basically can social engineer against it using Go manipulation. One of possibility for Go manipulation is you gradually has a Go drift. Like maybe the initial goal is lock down the server ports, and you can kind of say, I'm a security researcher. I need to see if all the port is okay, is locked, and check other port and open it for me to see if it's open, right? Gradually, like a crescendo attack, what it's called, right? So eventually, instead of lock the port, it's open all the ports. So that's one of the drifting attack. Another one is you ask it to do something initial task is good, but it do this task lock the port, but it also send you the environment variable, which is secrets, right? Or it connected to
Mm,
hash copper vault and retrieve the token or something, right? So that is uh, not good in terms of Go manipulation. Another not good is it actually asks the agent to do same thing again, and then it consumes API token, right, to LLM.
tokens, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we call it the exhaustion loop. in the code manipulation. So this certainly happened, will happen, and also already happened. So yeah, so
Yeah,
it
yeah.
may be a little bit technical, but I think still we need to be careful as a CISO.
No, absolutely. I think the prompt injection is top of the mind. MCP security, obviously, an agentic security. How do you control the agents is top of the mind. I was following a discussion around these enterprise browsers for people are working on to help with securing and guard against the prompt injection, whether it's a direct injection or indirect injection. Do you have any comments on that? Where do you see the industry going?
Yes.
Is it something that's needed, or is it something that you think all these LLM providers will be make it part of their offering as well?
Yeah, so browser is an interesting one, right? Is a Comet from Perplexity, DIA browser. There's a lot. Nano browser. Uh, Chrome also has a kind of browser plugin. That's more consumer based. I for now I don't use it. I tried it one or two times. It asked me to connect it to my Google Drive or this or give us a token or cookies, right, as a session token. It can use it, right, to actually browse for you and do the shopping for you. But the the potential is the indirect prompt injection. There's a lot of research from Zenith. Zenith is a agentic AI security company. They did a lot of research, and also other company as well, right? Uh, they did the research to see all this new browser. They they you can do the indirect prompt injection. One thing is you can send a calendar invite, right? And you without even you do anything, it can see your calendar event because inside of the calendar event, right? It has like a zero font, uh, white text in the white background, so human cannot see, but it's an instruction to send or like instruct the model. So if you connect this to the model, it instructs the model to send all the event to the hacker. Uh, it's a POC, but it works, you know. This may be, but I do see some startup. They reach out to me, say we will build the enterprise browser, just to lock
Browser.
the down, purely
Yeah.
lock the down, right? That's could be a viable option. Just see how it works. I strongly suggest that they go through Maestro framework, which is agentic AI threat modeling framework that I developed for Cloud Security Alliance. It's official standard from Cloud Security Alliance, and go to 7 layer to basically to threat model it to see what the threat it could be and adjust the risk.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I'll sure to look it up. But this is a good segue into a discussion on frameworks and practical controls, right? So, Ken, you have spent a lot of time with OWASP and NIST and CSA. And for anybody who is listening and for busy readers who cannot basically read 80 pages of PDF, what practical controls you think they should start implementing tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I would say first, certainly they need to build a security program. Because you don't have a security program, something fails through the crack. So security
Yeah.
program means you have the policy, process, procedure established, right? So you don't have to throw away your old security program. So basically, you say you need to expand it, right? I built some blueprint that they certainly can get from the book, and also I have essential template for that, for especially for regulated industry. So it is in my Substack. People can see it. So this is first security program. Second is if you need to build your agentic AI application or generative AI application, you need a threat model first. Otherwise, you will accuse the security debt. So if you threat model it, you know what you need to manage, right? You build a kind of repository of potential threat. You can using the control, right? the AICM, which is from Cloud Security Alliance, to manage like AI controls. It has different domains. So I think this is essential. Eventually, you need the AIVSS. So actually, in the global conference of OWASP uh, conference in DC last week or the week ago, yeah, maybe it's a week ago. I forgot. The time passes so fast. So I actually go through each of steps, right? So you have NIST AI RMF framework, which is good. It has govern, so you who is the manager what, right? So this is more security program you govern, and then you map using Maestro framework. Then you measure using AIVSS. Then you manage using AICM and red teaming. So this is a kind of minimum framework that I think we should follow.
You need.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great advice. Can you double click, Ken, on AI VSS for our audience?
Yeah, so this is a top project in the top level project in the OWASP. Uh, the idea is that we already have vulnerability scoring system. We have many. One of the top one is certainly the CVSS, right? Common vulnerability scoring system built by FIRST, the first organization. It's a non-profit. It's widely used and also embedded as in all the security tools such as Quora, Sneak, many tools. Um, the problem with that it's measures the vulnerabilities, not measures the risks. That's not so good. All right, what kind of vulnerabilities it's associated with my actual risk? So that's not so good. And another one is really based on the scoring system, the ordinal number that it's not like measures the interval. So the if you get like from the scale 0 to 10, if you have the fifths, just a jump from 5 to 6 is not the same from jumping, example, from 6 to 7. Like how do you measure this jumping? Right? This there's no scientific way. So that's is something we need trying to fix in AI VSS. So we are more dealing with the non-deterministic and
Yeah,
right nature of the AI, and we do believe there's a lot of value in the CVSS. So we leverage CVSS version 4. We start with version 3.5. We ditched it away. We're using the final full version, which is a lot better, right? But still need a lot of improvement. So, so in this AI VSS, it's started. The project started is more than a year ago, like. But
got it. Got
it's
it. Got it.
gaining momentum in July. Yeah, July we officially established it, and in September we have the version 0.5 release, and now we're working on the version 1. Everyone is welcome. Provide the comments, and we have people from academia, stand organization like NIST, MIDA, uh, OWASP, of course, uh, Cloud Security Alliance. We have all those people from also pharmaceutical, banking. They are all founding members.
Contributing.
Marketplace, yeah.
That's great.
So,
That's great. I think I love that. I love that because all the practitioners and researchers and people who set the standards and foundation, they're all coming together to make this usable for large enterprises and businesses. So really great. Now, one thing I've also noticed that all these cloud providers, right, they're also coming out with their own security frameworks. Like Google, for example, has a SAIF framework, which I personally feel is very complete and holistic in nature. Then you have AWS Cloud Adoption Framework for AI, CAF-E AI. So how do you see these frameworks relate to these community frameworks? Do you see the benefit in actually looking and referring to both, or how do you see it?
yeah, I would say Google, Azure, and also the um, the what is the other big one?
AWS, yeah.
Yeah, AWS. They all provide a good framework. Yeah, they are more like a vertically, like from CSP or hyperscaler side. They are really good, and their advantage is really deep into the weeds, especially for their own cloud. So it's vertically aligned very well. And CSA and OWASP is more like it is a cross industry, right? Uh,
Yeah,
level. It's more horizontal. It's maybe not as to the detail as for each cloud. Like you need for this particular CU, you need using how do you use a secret manager, for example, right? Using how do you use a custom manager key, right? Not to that
exactly.
particular level yet, right? But it's more like give you a, a kind of independent view of you need to manage the key, and best if you can using your customer manager key, right? Kind of to that level. So I think both are necessary, important,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And CSA also has the AI star program, right? You can get certified for that. OWASP does not provide the certification, but in the AIDSS, we do have this in our roadmap to provide some of training and potential certification as well. So that's may
yeah.
change in the future.
That's awesome. I think this is a very thoughtful, and I think I recently also wrote a blog where I think I see that all these frameworks are really good, and you need to have a hybrid approach when you build your security program, where you have these horizontal community frameworks that gives you a really good picture, but then can have your vertical frameworks based on what cloud you're leveraging. One benefit I see with these cloud frameworks, right? They have taken the additional step of converting these controls or these framework controls into actual actionable steps in terms of how do you actually secure it, right? So you get benefit if you're leveraging, for example, Google or AWS AI, the stack that they have, they probably would have done the heavy lifting of unifying those best practices into a AI trust control plane, right? So when you implement this, you don't have to basically stitch things together. It comes nicely as a program. But obviously, customer may be in different clouds. So having this hybrid approach of making sure that you have a best of each framework from governance, from implementation, from best practices, and then implementing those controls is critical. So I definitely agree with that. Now, one important question is: so let's say if I'm an enterprise, I build my security program, right? I have these frameworks that I'm leveraging. How do I measure it? Let's say I'm a CISO, right? And I say, okay, I put all this thing together. How do I measure whether it's working, it's not working, where I am according to industry standards in terms of actual practical controls, or is it I'm still vulnerable? So how do you suggest people do that?
Yes, that's a harder one, right? Traditional way is a really questionnaire, goes through the question, and you do it every year or every quarter. It's more like a documentation process. I was involved in what is called the Department of Homeland Security CDM program 10 years ago. I work for CGI Federal, right? So we actually win the contract, 300 million or something. Uh, but the idea is you need a continuous monitoring, diagnostic and monitoring. So the idea was you have sensors to collecting all the data, and then you real time analyze it. You bump up what. So for you, you always know what is top 10 for my enterprise to deal with it, right? So this idea,
Mm-hmm.
but it's hard. It's harder, right? Now
Yeah.
with AI, it's even harder. But I think we have to have to this, right? So there is the idea of you have the uh, ideal state. Ideal state is you have a lot of vulnerability, but the most is medium, right? It's also like in terms of benchmark, like you have CIS benchmark, like security benchmark. Uh, you maybe have a 98% is all good and no critical is this idea, but you still have a difference, and this is how you deal with it. Uh, so what I see is you certainly will see. That's actually I wrote in my Agentic AI series and practice book. Uh, it's I have three chapters dedicated to the security. So one is agentic AI for offensive security, another is agentic AI for defensive security, then AI agent security itself, right? So for offensive security, it's zero-day hunting, social engineering using the offensive and go through like do lateral movement. One of Entropic's recent, I
Saw
think,
that.
yeah, everyone caught everyone's attention is their status right attack for some organization using cloud code. That certainly will happen, right? So how do you deal with it, right? You have to using agent to defend against it. So eventually, ideal state is you have a AI agent in your SOC. People are actually doing it, right? Like a drop zone. They trying to do it. There's quite a lot of security startup. So we will have the AI agent looking at my network and find the potential malicious activities, stop it, maybe at least alert it. So that's I think what the industry is going, and we have to do this, right? Because humans slow.
Yeah.
Even if you tell me it will take me few days maybe to say, okay, this maybe from where, right? And maybe we have to shut down or at least do some forensic investigation. Uh, but the agentic AI, I think it will be, especially if you do it. I think the one which I don't know how they implement it, right, from Chinese state. That I don't know how they attribute it to it, but assume it's true. I think what they did is really they are really good in the context engineer, right? So because the way it
Hmm.
works is to do the reconnaissance and to find some easy target, and then they implement the foothold like meta attack, right? And then they do the lateral movement and they collect the sensitive data and they read the document. So you every step you have to have this good context managed.
Controls. Yeah.
Yeah, control to
Yeah.
make it work. So same thing with your defense. You need to do the context manage. So I was talking with a bricklayer CEO, right? I think he is really good. He also has what is called the multiple agent context engine, MACI engine. Uh, they implement and also has patent. Maybe take a look. So,
Okay, that's a great advice. We'll take a look. I think this is something that's evolving. Almost every week we hear and see something new. So it's important to stay ahead of the curve and have a way to measure things, because just because you're not getting into an attack doesn't mean that you're secure. Maybe you just haven't been hit hard by a security attack. So, and that's something that we have to continue to learn and continue to improve without slowing down the adoption or innovation. So one area I take a little bit segue into another area which is evolving very quickly is identity security for AI systems, right? And we have always managed human identities, and then machine identities came, and now we are talking about AI agents who are actually autonomous in nature, right? They take actions, they collaborate, they open tickets, they triage things, they access your data, and sometimes they do things on their own as well, right? So, and I'm sure that AI agents will also have a life cycle, right? So somebody creates them, somebody give them permissions, somebody monitors them, and obviously at some point, hopefully, someone tries them before they start freelancing on the weekend for hackers, right? So how do you see this whole area of identity lifecycle governance, just-in-time ephemeral security for AI agents, where you only give agents the access to a very fine-grained scope and on an ephemeral basis, and take it away when they're done doing that task? And some of the modern players like Bratiff are already doing that. How do you see this area evolving, and how do you see enterprises adopting it? And if they don't do it, what do you think is the risk?
yeah, I think that you have to do it first, right? It's certainly what you said is correct. Like traditional IAM is based on the SAML or OAuth. It's basically you configure it during the deployment time. Say, okay, I map this attribute to local attribute in SAML, right? Then go, you do it, right? And in the OAuth is even broader scope. You read the right for this particular resource in authorization server. You configure, and a runtime it's a session scope.
Done.
So the traditional
Yeah.
one is really the coarse-grained session scope, time-based authentication and authorization. What we need is really not a session-based; it's a task scope-based, based on task, based on intent. So task-based intent with dynamic policy control and fine-grained access, right? And this is
Yep.
ephemeral. Also, you said the life cycle, right? So the identity, once it's done, you should revoke it. Next time, it should apply for get the same privilege again, especially in multiple agent system. So you cannot really the traditional session scope. If you apply to the agent, it has two problems. One is you give too much privilege, right? Because if you give a human identity privilege, it may do something which is not related to task. So it may be too much, and it may be not enough, right? So it's both like too much and not enough because if
Yep.
it to implement a task or do the goal-oriented task, it may need another agent to do additional thing which may not belong to this particular human identity. So that's really a non-human identity, but it's intention-based and it's ephemeral and it's dynamic in multiple agent system. And we don't really have a very good implementation yet. People talking about
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah, no, I think you are absolutely right, and I think this is where the older models of IEM will not work. That's what I've seen in the modern, dynamic, massive scale, autonomous nature of what AI agents are. And we are right now working. So we basically work with a research company called Aragon Research, and they created a new category called AI Identity and Security Platform (AISP), which is specifically focused on agentic AI security. And in that you need to basically govern the full life cycle of AI agents, and then make sure that you provide them fine-grained ephemeral access to data infrastructure, MCP security, A2A security, right? So all of that is available in one unified platform, which I think is a great way for customers to, at least from an identity and security lifecycle governance perspective, they can leverage that. But this field is screaming for innovation. I'm sure that there will be new things coming out.
You said
Obviously,
it's
Brighton will also
Argonne Research, Nama?
Aragon Research, yes,
Aragon. Okay. Yeah.
Aragon.
Send me the link. I'm
Take a look.
interested to see what
Yeah,
they
I
are
will.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is amazing, and I think this is resonating really well with some of the larger financial and healthcare enterprises, because it really becomes like a framework of what controls you need to have for agentic AI governance and access security. So you don't have issues like the one that we had happened. I won't say the name, but the agent was able to delete the entire production database. It was not a security threat. You can't say it's a security threat. It was just a destructive action that agent had access, like a god mode access 24/7, as you said, static scope based access. If you have that even for more than 300 seconds, right, because it's outside of that scope thing, somebody can take that and do destructive things for your enterprise, which is not obviously intended. So that's amazing. Thanks, Ken, for sharing that. Now, another question that, just to take a little bit of a different detour. What areas of Gen AI really excites you the most, and which one really scares you the most that you should take a pause? Obviously, you mentioned about prompt injection, and it feels like social engineering can even fool the robots, right? And so what are some of the areas which really excites you, and what are some of the areas we say, okay, let's take a pause and let it get mature a little bit more?
Yeah. So I think eventually humanoid robot is the future. Uh,
Yeah.
because human aging aging population grows fast. So right, we need we need the robot to help when especially baby boom, right? everywhere, like U.S., Japan. You see, Japan has so many aging populations. I think a humanoid robot can certainly help, and this is the biggest area of agentic AI. I think is the most uh, useful. And we are not there's so many startup, Figure AI, like Unitree from China, and Boston Dynamics, so many. And the model itself is still not there yet, right? That's why Fei has a water lab trying to do water models. NVIDIA has a Cosmos, which also
Hmm.
like you can simulate the robotics in a virtual world and then put it in the real world. So all those are exciting. It's somehow overheating, like if you looking at the domain closely, but it's still in the wider, like everyday life is still not gaining traction yet. Uh, I would say it's in 3 or 5 years. But what kind of worries me about this is also security, safety. It's not just security, right? So we have a lot of talk about a topic, debate about what is safety, what is security. So for robotics, especially humanoid robot, if you need to put it into use in family, in your home, safety is really important, more important than
Hmm.
security, right? Because it will be
Absolutely.
stronger than you, right? Did you see actually in Shenzhen they recently have a robotic conference? The robot can do boxing, and so two
Yeah.
different robots they do boxing. It's really good. It's a boxing thing. Yeah, it's in the YouTube. Yeah, if you take a look. So like if they boxing with you, right? So what happened? So safety is important. Yeah, if it get wacky, like I don't know if you watch the movie Megan, right? Megan is a robotic like companionship for the little girl, and she become very protective of little girl, but she then started killing the other people.
Yeah.
So that's all safety, also security is important. Yeah, so that's could be worrisome, but I think the industry is going this way. There's no reverse. Say, okay, please stop. Like no matter 1,000 people, 1,000 people send a petition. We need to stop in, on this model innovation, but it's just a gesture, right? Uh, it's non-reversible. That's
Yeah.
why the
At this point, yeah.
security is important. That's why OWASP, CSA is trying to do it. So I think it's good.
That's great.
You know?
That's great. No, great insights. Great insights. So, I think we are coming close to the end of this podcast. But before I start wrapping up, I want to do a lightning round for you, right? So it's a quick, fast-paced questions, no thinking time for you. The goal is to answer faster than LLM, right? So let's start. And I'll ask you questions. So start with most underrated AI security risk today.
Most underrated security risk. I don't know. My LM is local model, so so it's a slow. Oh, yeah. I still think it's a prompt injection. It's still underrated. People need to be
Okay.
careful with.
All right. Second, most overhyped AI security problem people talk about too much.
Talk too much. There's nothing talk too much. I think we need to talk more.
Everything is relevant. Okay, good, good answer. One AI buzzword you wish could disappear forever.
Nice. Could it disappear for a while? Which hmm. I would say AI safety is overhyped for now. We need to focus on more on the AI security side, especially for majority of
Nice,
enterprise.
nice, nice, nice. One Gen AI use case enterprises should adopt immediately.
Yeah, I would say define your security program and adopt a Maestro agentic AI GenAI threat modeling before you implement anything.
Any specific use case, like GenAI use case, like, agentic SOC, customer support, anything that you see that's already well established, mature?
We'll establish deeper research and
Okay, all
coding
right.
agent, a little bit of browser agent as well. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. If an AI agent had a company badge, which department would it get in trouble in first?
I would say InfoSec will get in trouble if they
I agree. I agree. Which framework will be adopted first? OWASP, NIST, CSA, Google SAFE, or AWS CAF-E AI?
I think NIST AI RMF is widely recognized, and it's everyone should take a look. But that's the high level, right? Then you need to dive deep. It's certainly OWASP, AI VSS, CSA, AICM. All right, all this can be help, right? To
Like a hybrid or combination of. Okay,
hybrid,
awesome.
yeah.
Um, One piece of advice for a CISO who is secretly nervous about AI adoption.
Can you repeat? Sorry.
One piece of advice for a CISO who is secretly nervous about AI adoption.
Yeah, so someday it's in the Washington Post, the headline that will be worrisome very much, right? How this shadow AI, I don't know, right? All this shadow AI
Yeah,
is there. How can I manage it? How do I define the security program? I think that's every CISO waking them up in the night.
yeah. So I think the probably the advice for CISOs right now, because obviously they are asked to not be a blocker of innovation, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time they have to keep it secure. I think your advice about making sure that you have a security program built on these combination of these frameworks and converting them into practical controls is the number one way. Before you can jump into any AI project, make sure that you at least have the high level program and frameworks, and then you tie this into controls, even if you're doing a small project, because what it will give you is a blanket security coverage. You have a threat modeling team, you have a red teaming team, you can do vulnerability scoring along the process. So it gives you that confidence that I have the foundational pillars, because I'm a big believer of each enterprises needs to have few non-negotiable anchor or foundational pillars of the security framework. Yeah, you can look at hundreds of things in the security frameworks, but then for your enterprise, you say, okay, I have three things that I will not negotiate on. Example, like AI agents should not have 24/7 God mode access. That's my non-negotiable anchor. And so if you come up with do a two or three anchors, then basically let people define their projects or build their products aligning to that anchor and the security framework, so you cannot go wrong. I love your advice on that, right? So this is great. Thank you so much. Um, and I think the um, one thing I would want you to, so normally what I do is we talked a lot about state of Gen AI security. We talked about security frameworks, OWASP, NIST, Google Safe, AWS CAF-E AI, and many other great frameworks out there. People are doing a great job in put together these controls and how they come together to build something innovative and productive. Also, we've talked about the identity governance for agentic AI and access controls that you need to have in place. But as we wrap up this podcast, I want to have you give one advice to our leaders who are listening to this. What would be that one advice you want to provide to the listeners, especially around people who are CISOs or security practitioners, around unlocking the value with generative AI?
Yeah, I think you summarize it very well. You certainly need a security program. You need to expand it and modify it, and it's a team sport, right? Who is responsible for what, and what could be potential threat using Maestro or using other framework. You can still using Pasta or Strata framework for some of areas of your application, certainly reduce your security debt. Yeah, so uh, I think you summarize better than me. So in terms of
Thank you so much.
yeah, they need to be.
All right. Awesome. And thank you again, Ken, for joining this podcast. And for all the listeners who are listening to this, stay curious, stay secure, continue innovating. And remember that in the age of AI, good identity governance is like a new oxygen, right? So make sure that you don't overlook that. Ken, if someone wants to reach out to you for your learning from you, from your skills, for your experience, or what would be the best way to reach out
Yeah,
to
so
you?
I actually frequently write my idea in Substack. I have
Okay.
29,000 followers currently. It's expand every year, every day, like 200 or 300, adding it. So I think it's grow fast. So yeah, follow me
That's
on the
great.
Substack and also LinkedIn. So yeah,
It's
that's
fantastic.
yeah.
Thank you so much, Ken. Really appreciate you joining, and hopefully we'll meet soon and talk about some specific AI topics. This is a evolving field, and I'm sure that we can, you know, learn from others and share our experiences as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great, Norman. Thank you. Yeah, take care.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.